is time. The World Cup is upon us, and it is time to predict how this entire tournament will shake out. Now, with 48 teams and 12 groups, this is the biggest World Cup ever, and we have far surpassed the whiteboard, so I'm going to be doing this through the FIFA World Cup Bracket Challenge, as I cannot figure out what third place teams qualifying means what. And as such, I need their program to do it for me. But here we go, group by group, and then the knockout stage. These are my predictions for the 2026 FIFA World Cup. Group A, we got Mexico, South Africa, Korea, and Czechia. Here's how I think this group's going to play out. Mexico, I think, coming in first. I think out of these bunch, they are through and through the deepest and strongest squad, and with home field advantage on top of that, especially playing several games in Mexico City, the elevation is going to be something that's going to give them an advantage there. They should come atop this group. Czechia, I have coming in second. They are a decent squad, and I think that they should easily beat South Africa, and Korea might give them a bit of a run, but Korea is a match that they should come out on top in. Third, I have Korea, and fourth, I have South Africa. Korea, deeper squad all around than South Africa, one of the better teams in Asia, should take that matchup. Now, I'll come back to the third place teams after the fact. Going into Group B, Canada's group. In first place in this group, I have Switzerland. Switzerland benefiting from getting drawn into the group with the weakest host nation, and also, of course, Bosnia beating Italy in the qualification rounds. Switzerland, all in all, is the most solid team through and through in this group, and they should come out on top. Now, second place, Canada versus Bosnia. This is actually a lot tighter of a matchup than I think a lot of people are giving it credit for. With Alphonso Davies, Canada should walk over Bosnia. Without him, this is actually a really tight match. I think home field advantage of Toronto is going to give Canada a bit of an advantage here, and I think overall Canada has a bit of an advantage over Bosnia. I think maybe 6 times out of 10 Canada beats Bosnia, and because of that, they're my pick to finish second. But this very easily could end up in a draw. However, I think Canada also has a better chance of tying Switzerland than Bosnia does, which, if Canada and Bosnia do draw, will edge Canada out. And then Bosnia-Qatar, this Qatar team, they were not great in 2022, and I think Qatar has gotten even worse since the 2022 World Cup. So Bosnia will come in third, and Qatar is my pick to come last. Group C, Brazil should easily walk through this group. Morocco is the only team that really should pose much of a challenge to them, and even in that, they should not be challenged in this group. Now, this isn't the strongest team Brazil has ever brought to a World Cup, but in this group, they should walk through it pretty easily. Second place, we have Morocco, one of the best teams in Africa, coming off of the 2022 World Cup, where they were the first ever African nation to make the semi-finals. They should be able to beat both Scotland and Haiti and take second place in this group. In third place, we have Scotland, who I think very beneficial that their Pot D team in this group is Haiti for them, and Haiti coming in fourth. Team that has been plucky in some Gold Cups, but I don't think they have really what it takes to compete at a World Cup. Over to Group D. This is a group where none of these teams are really competitors to win the whole thing, but this might be the most interesting group in the whole World Cup. The USA, Paraguay, Australia, and Turkey. A lot of teams, all of which are probably round of 32, round of 16 Exeters, but all very level with each other. I have Turkey edging this group out in first place. I think they're the deepest team in this group, and overall just have the most talent position for position, just enough to edge out the US and Paraguay, but I definitely think they are the favorites to come first in this group. Now, the USA are known to choke at World Cups sometimes, but with home field advantage and host country advantage, they should be able to come second place in this group over Paraguay. Paraguay, I think, comes third, and Australia, man, the Socceroos are good, and the Socceroos are always known to be able to get some results at a World Cup, but this is a group where, again, they could beat any of these teams, but I just don't expect them to come out on top. But this group is definitely, if I had to pick a group where my predictions are all going to be wrong, Group D is the one. Moving down to Group E, we have Germany, Curacao, the Ivory Coast, Cote d'Ivoire, and Ecuador. Germany should come out on top in this group. Solid team all around. They are not the Germany of years past, which has been a true World Cup contender, but always a team that has a shot to win the whole thing. And in this group, they should come out on top. Ecuador, I have coming in second place. I really like this Ecuador team. They are definitely a team to watch, a team that could make a run to the quarterfinals. This Ecuador team is definitely one to watch coming into this tournament. Third, we have Cote d'Ivoire, another team that could potentially overperform. I mean, looking back to African Cup of Nations ago when they finished 2 points in the group stage and then ended up winning the whole tournament, a team that can struggle, but also can surprise people. And then last, we have Curacao. All but one of these players were born in the Netherlands. A solid Curacao squad that I think are a lot better than people are expecting. However, not quite up to snuff in a World Cup group that features some of the better teams in South America, Africa, and Europe. On to Group F. The Netherlands, Japan, Sweden, and Tunisia. Now, this is a group where the Netherlands should be able to come out on top. Both Japan and Sweden, and even Tunisia, could give them a bit of a battle, but I think the Dutch should be able to come out on top in this group. Again, they just position for position have a deeper squad all around. Sweden and Japan. Now, this is a very tight matchup. Sweden are very good on paper, but they did struggle in qualifying and only got here on virtue of having a good Nations League, which got them into the qualifiers. But their World Cup qualifying group was horrendous. Japan is consistently a team that's able to give those mid-tier European teams challenges. However, the injury to Kaoru Mitoma definitely hurts their chances in this group. However, I am going to pick Japan over Sweden just because I think Sweden recently, their form just hasn't convinced me. And so even though I think they do have the better top end players than Japan has, I think in a full team game, Japan should be able to take them. I do have Sweden coming in second, however, and Tunisia finishing in last. On to Group G. Belgium, Egypt, Iran, and New Zealand. We are a far cry from the Belgian super team of the mid-2010s. However, following a 2022 World Cup where they were embarrassingly knocked out by Morocco and Croatia in the group stage, they have been gifted a very easy group here. An Egypt team where Mo Salah's best years are well behind them, an Iranian team who are A, not that strong, and B, going to have a ton of extra travel with their base camp being in Mexico, and a New Zealand team which really is not that great. Belgium's going to come top in this group. I have Egypt coming in second as they should be able to topple Iran coming in third, and the Kiwis coming last. On to Group H. Spain, Cape Verde, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, and Uruguay. Spain are one of the two favorites for this World Cup up there with France. It's really a complete toss-up between who the favorite for this World Cup is between Spain and France. Easily first choice in this group. A group where they should win all three games. However, we know that good teams, Argentina, 4 years ago, lost to Saudi Arabia in the first round. They could end up losing a game, but even then, I still see them coming in first place in this group. In second place, we have Uruguay. Again, should easily be able to beat Saudi Arabia and Cape Verde. This is not the best team that Uruguay has ever sent to the World Cup, but given a group where they should be able to pretty easily come second. I'm putting Cabo Verde in third, which might be a bit of a surprise to some people, but I've really liked this team. I think they're in good form. I think they definitely are a team that's looking to surprise people in this World Cup, and I can see them getting a cheeky win over Saudi Arabia in the group stage. On to Group I. France, Senegal, Norway, and Iraq. Iraq handed a group of death here, as all three of France, Senegal, and Norway are teams you can see going to at least the quarterfinals. France should come tops of this group here. They just are one of the best teams in the world. So many of the best players in the world are on this France team. Yes, a little bit of a question with Mbappe's recent form at Real Madrid, how he's going to be on the squad, but they have reigning Ballon d'Or winner Ousmane Dembele. They've got a bunch of other players from that PSG Champions League winning squad. Just one of the best teams in the world right now. Easily should top this group. Norway and Senegal is a incredibly close matchup. Senegal currently involved in legal battles for reigning AFCON winning champions, but they did technically win the match. And Norway, who has Erling Haaland, the best scorer in the world right now, on top of many other great players like Martin Odegaard and Alexander Sorloth. Honestly, I think Senegal might overall, pound for pound across the lineup, have a deeper team than Norway does, but you can't question Erling Haaland's ability to score goals, and I think Norway's top-end talent edges them out over Senegal in this match. Senegal, though, easily should beat Iraq, and poor Iraq in their first World Cup are going to more than likely end up last place in this group. Argentina, Algeria, Austria, and Jordan. Whole lot of A teams in this group. Argentina should easily come out on top. The reigning champions, yes, they're not as good as they were back in 2022, and a lot of their star players have been aging since then, but they definitely still have the star power to beat Algeria, Austria, and Jordan. Austria I have coming in second. I think they just have a solidly deep team and should be able to take Algeria out. Algeria I have in third, and Jordan should be coming last. Portugal, the Democratic Republic of the Congo, Uzbekistan, and Colombia make up Group K. Now, Portugal, this Portuguese team looks really good. If anything, Cristiano Ronaldo might actually be the weak link on this Portuguese team. Very controversial to say, I know, but I saw them play against Armenia when Ronaldo was out suspended, when they won 9-1, and honestly, Ronaldo might be the weak link on this Portuguese team and holding them back, but they are 100% a dark horse to win the World Cup, and I have them coming in first place in this group. Colombia always step up for the World Cup. They had a very good 2024 Copa America, making it to the finals, and James Rodriguez always steps up at big tournaments like this. Colombia is a team that, again, another dark horse team, a team that you would expect to make the quarterfinal, possibly even surprise and make a semifinal spot. They're coming in second place in this group. I have the Republic of the Congo coming ahead of Uzbekistan in the third, fourth matchup. I think the Congo are just slightly better than this Uzbekistani team. Yes, Kusanov is a very great center back, but Uzbekistan as a whole just seems a little weak coming into this tournament compared to some of the other squads here. And finally, England, Croatia, Ghana, and Panama. Now, England, again, should top this group, but another team that is known to choke a little bit at the World Cup. However, they are playing an ancient Croatian team as their number one competitor to finish first. So England should finish top of this group, and that ancient Croatian team, while being ancient, should finish second, as Ghana and Panama, I think, are two of the weaker teams from Africa and North America that have qualified for this tournament. I think Ghana should slightly edge out Panama in this matchup. However, they very well might be a draw in that match between those two teams. Neither of them really have a hope in the matches against the other two. So now we need to pick the 8 of the 12 third place teams that we'll be going through. Now, I need to remind people before I do this that this is not who are the 8 best teams out of this list. These are the 8 teams that I think will finish the group stage on the most points. There are teams that I might say who aren't going to qualify that I think objectively anyone would say are better than teams that I think are going to qualify. However, that's because the group stage, I think those teams are in a tougher group and they're going to have a more chance of drawing that 4th place team in that group over getting a win. So here we go. Korea, I can see finishing on 3 or 4 points, getting a win over South Africa, and then getting a draw in those other 2 games. They most likely will be going through. Bosnia as well. Very possible that Bosnia beats Qatar and then gets a draw off of Canada. They should be going through. Scotland are in a tough spot. They most likely are going to beat Haiti, but they need to avoid getting blown out by Brazil and Morocco. I do think they're going to do enough to get in, though. Paraguay, I do not think is going to qualify. I think Group D is primed for multiple draws to happen and for you to have 3rd place finishing on 2 points of 2 draws. I think Paraguay, while they might not lose as many games as other teams on this list, are not going to qualify. Cote d'Ivoire should get the win over Curacao and move on. Sweden as well should get a win over Tunisia and possibly get a draw out of one of the other 2 teams in their group. They also should move on. Iran get a bit of a freebie against New Zealand, and that should put them through to the round of 32. Cabo Verde, I just think Spain and Uruguay are 2 tough matches for them, that even if they do edge out a slight win over Saudi Arabia, the goal differential probably will not work out in their favor. I have them being eliminated. Senegal, I see getting the win over Iraq and possibly even a draw against Norway. Algeria, I see getting the win over Jordan, and then potentially a close game versus Austria. They're going through. And I don't see the Congo going through, as I think, again, Portugal and Colombia are going to be 2 hard matchups for them, that even if they get a win, their goal differential is not going to be that good. And the same for Ghana. I think they're going to get blown out by England and not win well against Croatia, meaning that even if they get a win over Panama, they will not be going through. So that does it for the group stage, which means now we are at the knockouts. Germany versus Scotland. This should be an easy Germany win here. Scotland, I mean, even just to get to the round of 32 with winning over Haiti, I think is about as far as people are expecting them to get. And this German squad is very, very good and just overall beats them. France versus Sweden. France, just again, one of the favorites to win this tournament. I don't see them losing the Swedish squad. Maybe a bit more resistance from Sweden than Scotland will give Germany, but should be an easy win. Canada, Czechia, a game that's actually very winnable for Canada. However, I think the Czechs are just, again, slightly deeper, slightly more organized in the back line. Czechia should be able to take that match against one of the host teams. Netherlands versus Morocco. I don't doubt the Moroccans' abilities to make upsets here. However, I think they used up a lot of their luck 4 years ago and in rushing to the end of the AFCON. And I think this Dutch team is looking to make a run at this tournament and is just better all around than Morocco. The Dutch will go through. Colombia versus Croatia. 4 years ago, I would have said something different. I think this Colombian team is pretty hot right now, and this Croatian team is definitely slowing down. You can't count them out, and they are very organized, but Colombia look really good. They're going to go through. Spain versus Austria. Austria is basically dead in the water against this Spanish squad, one of the best in the world. Spain will go through. Turkey versus Bosnia. Turkey should be able to edge out the Bosnians in this matchup. Strong team. Bosnia, very fortunate to make it this far, but their run will come to an end. Belgium versus Korea. I mean, Korea is a team that can pull off upsets, and Belgium is a team that's primed to lose from a higher than expected area. I think Belgium's upset will come, but I don't think it'll be at the hands of Korea. More for that soon. Belgium will go through. Brazil versus Japan. Another matchup where I could see the Japanese potentially upsetting Brazil, but Brazil, definitely, this Brazil squad is something to prove at this World Cup. They should go through. Ecuador versus Norway. This is a very good matchup. Two middling national teams of some very good high-end talent. Norway, I think, should take the edge in this one. I think they just have a bit more of that high-end talent than Ecuador does and a bit more depth overall. Mexico versus the Ivory Coast. This is a game where Mexico should be able to take it pretty smoothly. They're going on. England versus Algeria. I mean, if England were to lose here, there would be riots. England have to go through. Argentina versus Uruguay. A very good matchup. Two teams, I think, that have both looked better in years past. Argentina is my favorite to go through in this match. The USA versus Egypt. A slightly better team against the US here, and I would have said they'd be in real trouble, but I think Egypt is a team that the USA should be able to topple. They'll go through. Switzerland versus Iran. Switzerland should have a pretty easy matchup in this game and be able to slide on through to the round of 16. And Portugal versus Senegal, another really good game, and another game where Portugal somehow ends up having trouble scoring in this game. Senegal could very easily sneak out a win. Both of these teams are dark horses to do very well in this tournament. However, Portugal has been my dark horse for a while. I have them going through. Up to the round of 16. Germany versus France. This is a very good round of 16 clash. Two very good national teams, both of which would be very disappointed to go home before the quarterfinals. However, France, again, one of the favorites to win this tournament. They're the pick here. Their top-end talent right now and goal-scoring ability right now and goal-scoring threat right now are just better than the Germans. Czechia versus the Netherlands. The Netherlands, I think, lucking out with another easier matchup here, should be able to take Czechia and move on to the quarters. Colombia versus Spain. Now, Colombia is really good, but Spain's a team that I think is too good for them to beat. Spain go through. Turkey versus Belgium. I said Belgium is a team that's primed to be upset, and I think Turkey is the one to do it to them. I think this Turkish team has what it takes to eliminate this Belgian side. They'll be going through. Brazil versus Norway. Now, Norway is another team that very easily could upset Brazil. Honestly, this Norway team is one that seems primed to make a run at this World Cup and primed to pull off an upset somewhere. And this Brazilian squad is not one that I'm very hopeful for coming into this tournament. I think Norway takes out the Brazilians in this matchup. Mexico versus England. This is a very high pressure game for Thomas Tuchel's England. Mexico in Mexico City. England need to win this game or else this entire tournament comes crashing down for a team that is one of the three biggest favorites to win it. I think England do in this game, but it's going to be a lot closer of a matchup than I think they would like it to be. Argentina versus the USA. This has to be where the USA's tournament ends. There's no way that they beat Argentina in a match. Again, there are teams that the US can upset, but the US right now, I just don't see them a team able to make an upset the way they've been playing recently, and Argentina is too good of a team for them to upset. Argentina will take it. And Switzerland, Portugal. Portugal, my tournament dark horse, they will continue to ride, taking out Switzerland here. I honestly think that Switzerland is an easier matchup for them than Senegal. And if they take out Senegal, they should be able to take out Switzerland in this round of 16 matchup. Into the quarters, we have France versus the Netherlands. France will have had a harder matchup against Germany in the previous round. After that, the Netherlands should be easy as pie for them. They will move on to the semis. Spain versus Turkey. Again, I think Colombia will be a harder matchup for Spain than Turkey in this game. Turkey will be eliminated as Spain move on to a clash of titans in the semis. Norway versus England. Another high pressure match for England, and Norway, if they get here, they'll be coming off of a massive win over Brazil. I think, well, England are notorious to be chokers. They just don't have the same weaknesses as Brazil has, and for that reason, England should be able to beat Norway and move on to the semis. And finally, Argentina versus Portugal. What a way for Messi and Ronaldo to end their careers this would be, playing against each other in the quarterfinals of their final World Cup. Now I'm going to say something very controversial. I think right now Messi is better than Ronaldo currently is. However, I think this Portuguese squad overall might be better than this Argentinian one. I'm going to have to pick Portugal going through. I really like this team as a whole, and I think they have what it takes to beat this Argentinian side. That leaves us with France versus Spain in the first semifinal. Now, these are everyone's picks to win the tournament. France recently has jumped up a bit in the favorite rankings over Spain. However, I have been and I still am a Spain guy in this matchup. I think if Lamine Yamal is back and fully healthy, they just have the X factor of the guy who's probably the best player in the world right now on the Spanish team, the most creative player in the world right now. And on top of that, I think as a team, I like how this Spain team as a whole gels better than this French team. I'm going with Spain in this matchup. In the other semifinals, England versus Portugal. England always goes out in the semis. We know it to be true. However, they've brought in Thomas Tuchel, who's a fantastic tournament manager. And yes, well, there have been some questionable choices on who he's called up to this system. This is a man who led Chelsea in 2021 to a Champions League title, a Chelsea team that had no business winning a Champions League title to a Champions League title. Plus, you have Harry Kane in the form of his life. If he's ever going to win a World Cup, he's a Ballon d'Or favorite this year. And if he's going to win a World Cup and a Ballon d'Or, it's going to happen this year. England are my pick to go through the final. And that leaves us with England versus Spain in the final. And unfortunately, England fans, it's not coming home. Spain has been and continues to be my pick to win the 2026 FIFA World Cup. So there you have it. That's a lot of predictions. 48 teams, 6 rounds, down to 1. Spain will win the World Cup, their second overall and first since 2010. That is for this video. As always, if you'd like to hit like, if you want to see more stuff, hit subscribe, follow me on Twitter. Link is down below in the description, and I will see you next time.